Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us to hear about the amazing work MAKOM communities are doing on the ground in Israel during this crisis. My name is Beth Cohn, and I'm the chair of the MAKOM Task Force for Jewish National Fund. As you may know, our JNF affiliate MAKOM is a network of over 200 communities focused on empowering and revitalizing their towns throughout Israel. Jewish National Fund USA works hand in hand with MAKOM to support their communities in the Negev and the Galilee as they empower themselves from within through innovative social programs in the fields of education, culture, welfare, and employment. Now more than ever, the volunteer work MAKOM communities do is essential to the health and well-being of Israelis. In the last week, in response to the coronavirus crisis, almost 1,600 MAKOM volunteers took care of the elderly and senior citizens in their communities by collecting, packaging, cooking and distributing food, taking and forwarding calls on the hotline, making phone calls and checking up on those who are lonely, and doing light maintenance and fixing up homes where necessary. We also had almost 1,400 volunteers responding to calls on the national hotline, preparing and distributing food packages to other people in need, and recruiting additional volunteers. We had over 900 volunteers caring for children of essential workers, children with special needs, volunteering with farmers in the fields, collecting computers and laptops for children who otherwise would not be able to participate in distance learning, and assisting with bureaucracy for Ethiopians and Russians who are experiencing unemployment issues. The statistics are impressive, but what is more impressive are the individuals from MAKOM. Today, we are privileged to hear from 4 of these communities and volunteers directly. Although all of these volunteers are located in the north of Israel, rest assured that MAKOM communities throughout the country are involved in similar projects, as the numbers show. I am pleased to introduce our first speaker, Maya Dabbour, who will talk about efforts in the Druze MAKOM communities to make computers more available to students. And first she'll introduce herself and just tell us a few words about the Druze community. Maya?
Hi everyone. Thanks for the meeting. Thanks for meeting us and always supporting us. I'm Maya. I'm from the MAKOM Druze community in Beit Jan, which is in northern Israel. I'm 24 years old. I'm a graduate from Tel Aviv University. I was double majored, political science and American studies. So I'm going to be assuming that not a lot of you guys know who the Druze are. So the Druze, we're basically an esoteric ethno-religious group. We're a minority in the whole world, not just in Israel. And just a brief info is about the Druze. We believe in, like, as I said, we're ethno-religious. So we believe in one God. We have 5 main prophets. We have our holy books as well. We call them the epistles of wisdom. We are a very conservative society, and most of the Druze live in the Middle East. You will find them in Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. We all live in the mountains due to some historical issues that we had with other people. We were persecuted throughout history, so we always chose the mountains. And that's just like a brief info about the Druze. And about myself, as I said, I'm a graduate from Tel Aviv University. I've been in the MAKOM Druze community since 2010. I've joined in 2009 to my village community as a student in their programs. We have a leadership program in our community. And I joined as a student. I've stayed in that program for 3 years, and then I became a member of the community here. And since then, I've done a lot for just like to repay what they gave me, to try at least. We have an amazing activities when the world is a much better place with no coronavirus. On a daily basis, we help all sectors of the community. We work with elderlies, we work with babies and toddlers. We have a babysitter program. But our main focus is on the youth. For the youth, we have two special programs. One is the pre-military prep school for underprivileged Druze guys who are not very qualified to enroll in some of the quality service. So we train them, we give them the basic infos, we teach them Hebrew. And the second program is, beside the leadership program, is the tourism program. We host a lot of groups from abroad and a lot of locals here from Israel who wants to come and to hear about the Druze from the Druze themselves. They experience a full cultural experience. They taste our food, they get to meet the people and talk with them. This is a win-win situation because our youth as well, they learn English, they learn Hebrew, their self-esteem rises, and they're basically becoming more and more open to new cultures and to meeting new people. And other than that, we also, as I said, we also work with elderlies. During emergency situations, we also cooperate with the local municipalities here. We distribute food, we do a lot of things together, but a few days before the situation got much more complex here in Israel, and due to the coronavirus situation, we did a small survey because we actually it came because as we all know, all of the students are now learning through distance learning. And from a small survey on Facebook, we saw that not a lot of people in my village and in the Druze villages have computers at home. So we approached schools, and after the statistics, from the statistics that we collected, it showed that approximately, I'm going to talk about Beit Jan in specific. In Beit Jan, we have about 200 families that do not have computers at home. So we joined the efforts together, and we decided that we wanted to do something about it. So we started collecting old computers and laptops from people who are not in need for them, or they have extra ones. And we've also opened a PayPal account, so people who do not have computers but still want to donate money, so we can buy computers with that. Well, as I said, in Beit Jan alone, we need 200 computers. And actually today, I just got back from the community center, and we distributed about 40 computers. And we are very happy. I'm very happy to tell you that our efforts are paying off. A lot of people are contributing. A lot of people are donating either money or computers. And luckily, our project is now running in all the Druze communities and not just in Beit Jan. It was very important for us because, like, even for me, even my neighbors didn't have computer. Like, I know the struggle, and I've seen kids who are unable to connect with their teachers or with their classmates, or are not keeping up, and it's very sad. So if we can do something about it, then why not? And today, after the distribution, we've got a lot of comments, and it's heartwarming. And we're going to be posting some pictures on Facebook as well. I'm going to send some to Shosh as well. She can share with you guys. That's basically it.
Thank you so much, Maya. It's really heartwarming to hear that your efforts are really paying off, and that it's spread to the other Druze communities as well. Yeah. So that's wonderful. You may have questions for Maya and for the other speakers. Please type them into the chat area, and we'll keep a list of them, and we'll get to them at the end. We won't have questions until the end. So thank you so much, Maya.
Of course,
Our next speaker is going to be Pavel Shaul Havkin, who's part of the Artist MAKOM community in Nahariya. My husband and I have visited all of the MAKOM communities that we are talking with today, and we had a lovely meeting in the Artist MAKOM community in Nahariya just on our last trip in February. So I'm very happy to hear about everything that's going on there. Pavel's going to speak about the programs for children of essential workers that they've instituted. Pavel?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Pavel. I'm 26 years old, and I'm part of the MAKOM artist community here in Nahariya. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy you all joined in. I was born and raised in Akko, right here in the Northern Galilee. I'm living a 10 minutes drive from the city I was raised in. My parents immigrated here in '92 from the former Soviet Union. In the past 3 years, I've been living here in Nahariya, part of this MAKOM artist community. I'm studying in a special program that involves both art studies and community engagement. On a daily basis, I'm working as an art teacher in a school here in the area, in a program that integrates children of immigrants from the former Soviet Union through art. And I'm also the coordinator of our volunteer program. My MAKOM community is part of 5 MAKOM communities all over Israel. We have over 250 artists taking part in those communities. On a daily basis, we all work as art teachers at schools, and we are socially, we're working as art teachers at schools, and we're taking part in various programs in our communities, trying to build and strengthen the local communities and make and create and do art in the places that we are in. I think that my story could help you a little bit understand. I was born and raised in Akko. My normal path would be to live here and go to Tel Aviv in order to be an artist. Today I live in Nahariya, and my community creates here and gives an opportunity for people to do and continue making art, making local cultures in the places that they live in. And it's a very special thing here, and I think everywhere around the world. So during this crisis, we were asked by both the Nahariya Western Galilee Hospital and by the Rambam Hospital to help with opening a daycare for the essential workers and practically the people who work in the hospitals during this time. We have over 120 children in both of these daycares. The hospital in Nahariya in the Western Galilee is one of the biggest hospitals in the north. Actually, it's the second in size, and it provides medical services for all the people in the Western Galilee. The second hospital that we are taking part in and collaborating in order to create this day camp is a hospital. The Rambam Hospital is the biggest hospital in the north that provides medical care for people that live in Haifa and its surrounding areas. So during this time, we are meeting the children on a daily basis and trying to keep their daily routine and trying to help their parents. I don't know if you know, but essential people who are working in the medical system here are working a 12-hour shift. Everybody's working 12 hours in a row. They're having a 12-hour break. During this time, the grandparents are not there in order to help. I've had a couple of single mothers working at a hospital who had no one to take care for their children during the time that they're at the hospital and doing what's need to be done during this time. I'd like to tell you a little story. The other day I was walking with one of the children. His name is Gal. He's 5 years old. His father is a doctor at the hospital. And he asked me to hold hands. And I told him that we cannot. And he asked me why. And I told him that we can't hold hands because we are handling and trying to deal now with the coronavirus. And we're trying to touch each other less. And he looked at me and then he said, then can we hug? And I told him, no, we can't hug because we're not hugging right now because of the coronavirus. And this moment for me, it was a big moment in order to understand how important and essential what we're doing and how much help in making sense of this new reality these children need. They are trying to handle both the coronavirus a situation where many activities that before that was normal, good activities like playing outside, meeting with friends, hugging, holding hands, now become activities that they need to be afraid of and might even be dangerous for others. And their parents are working in a hospital and they're trying to make sense of a situation where their parents have to work more, handling more stress. And we are trying to do the best we can to help them and help their parents do their job in the best way they can. I think that would be it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pavel. That story is both heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time because of the work that you're doing, really helping these children create a new normal and understand their world at their level in a completely different way. So really wonderful to understand what your community is doing, and both hospitals are huge hospitals, and the Western Galilee Hospital is essential, not just for the Western Galilee, but for really the very north of Israel. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce you to Lilach Freedman, who is part of the Migdal HaEmek educators community, and she's going to talk to us about her work with youth and youth coordinators. Lilach?
Hi. So I'll say that, first of all, that it's very overwhelming to meet so many people who care about what's happening here. I'm very excited to talk with you. So my name is Lilach. I'm 27 years old. I've been living in Migdal HaEmek here in the MAKOM community for about 4 years now. Actually, after my Army service, I moved to Rockville, Maryland. I lived there for a year and a half. And there I worked in the JCC as a preschool teacher and as a counselor for the humanistic Jewish teen community. The community, I worked with their teen group as a counselor. After that, I came back to Israel. I joined the MAKOM community, and I worked for a while in a program for women who are suffering from sexual abuse, post-trauma. And after that, the most recent thing I've been doing, and I've been doing that for 2.5 years now, is what I'm going to be telling you about now. So for the past 2.5 years, I've been coordinating the activity for our youth movement in Kiryat Bialik, which is a city in the north. So it's sort of a youth center with about 200 kids and youth from ages 9 to 18. There are about 20 centers like this in the north of Israel with about, I'm sorry, there's drilling suddenly, I'm sorry. I still have neighbors, even though I'm talking now. And there are about 200 kids and teens about 2,500 kids who participate in this in the north. Threw me off. So what happens in these centers is that they come after school for a few hours a day. Usually the older the kids are, the longer they stay at the center. Sometimes they come at 3 o'clock and then stay till 9 or 10 p.m. And what we do there is we create and give all kinds of we create and give all kinds of sorts of social activities to help the teens build their own set of values. They talk about politics and about social issues. And I think most important, they themselves create activities and counsel a group of younger children. So anyone between 16 years old to 18 years old are actually counselors themselves for younger children. Now, a couple weeks ago, what happened is that when COVID-19 started spreading, all of the education centers, if it was formal and informal, I mean, schools, our centers, everything closed down. And then suddenly all of our youth that usually come to us found themselves very, very alone. Some of them have very functioning families, plenty of space at home, and some of them have wonderful parents, but with very low income jobs, and they can't stay at home or can't provide alternative activities for their children. So all of the youth from all kinds of parts of societies just are suddenly alone at home, have nothing to do. And the same about our specific children who are used to spending most of their time after school with us, found themselves home without any significant friendship to lean on, and it was something we felt from the very start. About a day after the formal and informal education centers closed down, we already began creating alternative online activities using Zoom or other apps that are more, the kids know better. And through that, we actually tried to create a social environment that is similar to what we do usually, and that keeps them having a social life that's safe and online. And then for about 3 intensive days, it was a weekend, we sat and we worked on building also on a site that gives different activities for all ages, 9 to 18, also younger if they want. And we created a full meeting schedule that takes the usual activities we do in the center and just makes it online and brings it into their homes. And I think another thing that's significant is that we trained all our teen counselors, the counselors I said before that have groups that they actually counsel themselves. We trained all of them to cope with the stress that their kids are going to go through, and themselves too. They're also important. And to know how to notice trauma and bring it back to me so I can bring through the steps of getting to different professionals if they need. That's it. I think the kids are really amazing. The time is very, very difficult for them, also for us not meeting them. It's really weird. And we find also that many teens who usually don't really connect to this kind of activity in our centers usually suddenly are reaching out and looking for different places to just have a social community their age, not their parents or I don't know, younger kids, or someone who's their age and who they can be with. And it's very I feel it's been a very significant time these past couple of weeks, even though it's a little bit sad. And I think I'll end with saying what I said to I have a couple of teens who are counselors who a few days ago told me they don't want to do it anymore and it's really difficult and they aren't enjoying it, and they were like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. So and then I think the most significant thing I try to tell my teens is to try to imagine what would happen in 50 years when they will be grandparents and they'll be telling their grandchildren about what they did when there was a pandemic. And will it be, I was staying at home and just keeping busy, which is also important, or did I do something to change people's lives? And I think that's really what's happening with our youth in the past while now. That's it. If you have any questions, I'd like to answer later.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Lilach. And I think really sort of the cascade effect of working with the youth, but also working with the counselors and really making sure that everyone's okay and having a process so that everybody doesn't feel like they're alone, I think is a really important part of what you've been talking about. So it's really wonderful. So thank you so much. And thank you for sharing all of that with us. So lastly, I'd like to introduce Mirit Sulema from the Educators MAKOM community in Akko, who will tell us about their work with the elderly during this critical time. Mirit?
Hi, thank you all for showing up. This is really exciting to realize so many people are interested in what we're doing here in Israel. So my name is Mirit and I grew up in Tel Aviv and moved to Akko a decade ago to join the Akko Educators MAKOM community, which is a part of a national organization called Druze Israel that has 16 MAKOM communities all over Israel. In my community, we're 90 people, all working in education, as we believe education is the way to create deep, meaningful change in society. And I graduated from Beit Jan College, where I studied informal education and history. So on our day-to-day work, we work with all sectors of society in Akko, with Muslims, Christians, Druze, Jews from former Soviet Union, mountain Jews from the Caucasus, lots of Olim from all over the world. We work with kids, youth at risk, and the elderly. And we do all kinds of programs like teaching Arabic and Hebrew to Jews and Arabs. We have at-risk youth clubs. We have cultural projects and many programs to encourage grassroots democracy and community building in the inner city of Akko, which is shared for Jews and Arabs. And it's hard, but that part of the city suffers from 70% of residents living under the poverty line and 30% of unemployment just in every day. So it's not just like what happens now, it's like how we live here. And we work with about 1,000 youth and children all over the year and 150 senior citizens. We have programs for you name it, the age, we've got it. And the programs promote our vision of community building, over 15 programs all over Akko. And if in regular times, these are the numbers, like 30% unemployment, imagine the challenges that we have here with the need to quarantine people. Poor people are getting poorer and the needs of the elderly are increasing with no food, no money, no socializing. It's pretty hard to see. And our challenge is to find the way to operate an organization that is based on human encounters, education, and community in this time where you can't really see each other and you can't meet each other. So we strongly feel that the challenge of this time is for people not to feel alone, because the notion that we're trying to challenge is that in order to survive, you need to be alone. In order to survive, it's easier if you're alone and if you're taking care of yourself. And we want to challenge that. So I think living in communities, we all share the serious concern to our elderly in our communities in this crisis specifically. And we found many ways in which we build this community even in this crisis. And it starts with taking care of the elderly. We found someone in every building in the surrounding neighborhoods in this district of the city that is willing to be the building supervisor, meaning that he collects the needs from the elderly in his building and makes sure that they have food, diapers, medicine. And we also have volunteers that go every day to buy these things for the elderly. And also we have a group that makes these kits, these kits of activities that they can do. So for instance, like this kit is it's a gardening kit. So it means that we give it to all the senior citizens that we are in connection with. And it's not just like, okay, so it's also for them not to lose their skills and having something to do and not just be sitting alone all day. But it's also the way that it's not just a kid, it's also the personal touch. So we distribute it. Our activists are distributing this kit and are like seeing the senior citizen and asking them like, how are they doing? And last but not least, we have the volunteers making phone calls twice a week to like a lot of old residents who live under like alone or most of the time alone. And we're in contact with 150 senior citizens. And it's important for me to say that this is all in collaboration with the municipality welfare department and with another MAKOM community in Akko that we're working together. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Mirit. That's so heartwarming to hear. And the truth is, I'm sure there's plenty of people in the United States that would love to get a kit like that on their doorstep. So it's such a great idea. So really, really appreciate it. So we have some time for questions. So if anyone has a question, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. And you can ask it of any of the people from MAKOM communities or of me, whatever questions you have. Anybody?
The easiest way is press and hold your space bar. Press and hold your space bar to temporarily unmute yourself.
I'd like to make a comment. It's not a question, really.
Okay, Nina.
Nina Paul. I'm now the National Vice President of Major Donors and a member of MAKOR for many years. And I have to say that for the last few years, MAKOR has actually struggled a bit with understanding MAKOM. And I want to thank you, Beth, and all of you, and Shosh, all of you that are involved. This has been very enlightening for me to understand more of what is going on with MAKOM and all the different communities. And I'll be happy to spread the word even more so with all of our core members as well. And I know that probably the initial years with just getting it formed was hard for everybody to kind of put their arms around it, but you've done a wonderful job, all of you, and I commend you. And thank you so much for the fabulous work that you're doing. Hope to support you all.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, if anyone has any other questions or a question that comes up later, you can send an email to makom@jnf.org and we will get that question. So as we wind down our time together, I just would like to introduce our JNF MAKOM liaison, Shosh Mitzman. Many of you on the call probably know her or have talked to her already. Shosh has been also quarantining in Israel in her home in the southern Golan Heights. But I know she's also been working very hard with the different MAKOM communities and really helped put this call together. Thank you so much, Shosh, for that. Shosh, would you like to say a few words?
Of course. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see your faces. I'm so glad for this opportunity. I would like to say a few things. First of all, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to take interest and listen. And even though we're each in our homes, setting aside time for learning and understanding what's going on in Israel is really heartwarming. For those of you that don't know me, I am Shosh Mitzman. I'm the JNF MAKOM liaison, and I'm now in my third year working with MAKOM, and I really work with the majority of the communities. I'd say that's close to 200 communities all over Israel. In usual life, I'm living in my car because I'm driving around from community to community and meeting people and really seeing on the ground what's being done and making sure that what we are doing is significant and the dollars raised by all of you it's going to where it needs it most in Israel. Now that we're in, I'd say, this special challenging time. So of course, like all of you, we're doing it in a distance. But I wanted to say a few things specifically in these challenging times. Of course, besides the thank you to Beth, our task force chair, and to the four people from the different communities who took the time to really share what's going on right now in Israel. I wanted to say that so much is going on. It's almost like saying, oh, so what's happening in JNF today? So much is happening in JNF. Or it's like, what's happening in Israel? So much is going on in Israel because we are the people and we are the doers in Israel. And we are the ones that take the initiative and make sure that things happen and that things are moving forward. And I want to share with you on Friday, right before Shabbat, someone from one of the communities forwarded a voice message on WhatsApp. And you could tell that it was someone with a Russian accent who said, I am so touched. People came to my door and left homemade food for me and my husband for this Shabbat. Where else in the world would something like this happen? And if it weren't for the people in our community that takes care of people like me, because I'm really a no one. Nobody knows me. I have one or two friends. I know a few people in my building, but people take the time to learn about who's living there and what's happening and who might need something. And she said, years ago when I moved to Israel from the former Soviet Union, I thought I was moving just so that my life would be better. I didn't realize that I would feel part of one big family. And I want to tell you that beyond the fact that, you know, it gave me chills when I was listening to that message, it made me think of all of you on the other side of the world. That's what you do every single day when you get up in the morning. You make Israel part of your life. You make that effort so that we in Israel feel like you're just right across the street from us. And that's something that we really cannot take for granted, because just like how you make sure to take care of us in Israel, we are the ones who are making sure to take care of the people that don't really see or are too known. And those are the people that need our help the most. And those are the people that we make sure to take care of. So as we are closing this up, I just want to say that for those of you that want to get inspired by what's happening and what the people are in our communities are doing for others, you're welcome to join our Facebook page called MAKOM Communities. We try to post all kinds of inspiring stories of people and places that where unique things are taking place. And I want to share with you that you can now share with your donors that for people that care about the people of Israel and want to support the work that we are doing in all of our communities, you can donate directly on the JNF webpage. It's jnf.org/makom, so that's really simple. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you in Israel when the time comes, when it's possible. Come and visit our communities and meet the people and see what's being done with children, youth, young adults, senior citizens, and really across the board. We are taking care of society so that the future of Israel is strong and resilient, and we continue to develop and move forward. I want to thank you all and wish everyone good health, and make sure to take care of yourself and your loved ones. And it's really a pleasure for me to be here with you. I almost feel like you're here with me in the room.
Thank you so much, Shosh. And thank you again to Maya and Pavel and Lilach and Mirit for sharing your stories with us today. As Shosh mentioned, jnf.org/makom is where you can go if you want to support the work that MAKOM communities are doing in Israel. And when you come to Israel, hopefully, God willing, our conference will be on in October, and there will be a MAKOM track. You can go and visit in the north and the south MAKOM communities and really firsthand meet the people that we've been speaking to today. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and stay safe, stay healthy, and stay home.